Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Timm, and I am the videographer of the Nathan Davig Chronicles, and I am coming at you right now with another gun cleaning video. And we are going to be cleaning a Heritage Arms 22 model 22 caliber revolver, and this is a really neat firearm. It is a inexpensive 22, good quality. It is a very good gun for a beginning shooter. If you know somebody or if you yourself have some interest in firearms, this is a really sweet gun to start with. So what we're going to do is, when I start the videos, I always like to go through some gun safety. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice how I'm holding the gun, I'm keeping my finger outside of the trigger guard, which is here, and you never want to place your finger in here, but you always want to keep your finger on the frame of the gun outside of the trigger guard, and you always want to handle a gun as if it's loaded and ready to fire at all times. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure this is unloaded, and then we'll go from there. So let's put the gun on half cock, okay, and you notice here it's on safe. The safety is right here. I don't know if you can see that real well, but if I take the safety off, then it's ready to fire, and if I put it back on, then it's not. That's excellent. So let's make sure that the gun is unloaded, and I'm going to make sure that let's get this so you can see it. Okay, this is the eject lever. Excellent. Alright, we are making sure this is unloaded. Excellent. So this is unloaded. Perfect. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the cylinder out. And I'm going to put the gun on half cock. And if you notice, when I put the gun on half cock, the cylinder can rotate freely. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the cylinder out. And this part of the gun right here is your catch that the cylinder pin locks into. So this is spring-loaded, and it can press in and out, kind of like that. I know this is only done on a tablet, so I don't know if you can see it that well. But I'm going to press this in, and then the cylinder pin just comes out like that. Of course, that's what your cylinder rotates on, so I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm just going to rotate the cylinder out, just like that. And I'm going to set the cylinder aside. And then I am going to go ahead and release the half cock and put the hammer back. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to work on the cylinder right now. So what I'm going to do, and I will be right back because I forgot my hoppies. Hold on just a second. Okay, now we are back. I'm sorry for that little interruption. So I'm going to go over what I use for cleaning. Right now, what I use is I use Hoppe's number 9, and basically that is an excellent solvent for any modern firearm. You don't want to use Hoppe's number 9 if you're cleaning black powder firearms, because that's a completely different animal. So, but Hoppe's number 9, you can find containers like this at Bass Pro, Cabela's, any local gun shop where you may live, and this is a really neat solvent. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to wet a patch, and we're going to run that through the different chambers of the barrel. Make sure that gets all clean. Okay. You don't need a whole lot, but you do need some. So we're going to get that in there. Make sure the patch gets good and saturated. Okay. Excellent. Alright. And we're going to go ahead, and we are going to assemble the cleaning jag that I had right here. Actually, let's see if it goes in. Here we go. Excellent. Alright, so we're going to thread this through. Make sure this gets down in there so this can clear out all the fouling. Excellent. If you notice how I have it like that, then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and run this through each chamber of the barrel here. Make sure this comes out all nice and clean, because you don't want that fouling in there to build up. That's not a good thing to do. Alright, so we're going to be cleaning the outside. One nice thing about regular firearms, modern firearms, they use smokeless powders, so if you don't clean them right away, it's not as big of a deal, but a good practice to get into is to clean the firearm as soon as you get home, because that will prevent fouling buildup, and that will prevent just the general corrosion of the firearm itself. So that's always a very good thing to get into, a very good habit. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and scrub the outside here, and this is going to work a little bit better for us here. Okay, dip that into the hoppies. Make sure this gets all good and covered. Yeah, because you want to clear all that fouling out of there. And if you notice what I do, and this brush just cleans the hard fouling off of the barrel, and then we're going to continue to work on the inside here. Alright, we're going to make sure that gets all in there. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, oops. There we go. Oh, come on. There we are. And the other thing we're going to do is make sure that we get in with the other cleaning jag, or the brush. Oops. Wrong one. As you can tell, it's been a little bit since I've worked with this. Alright. Perfect. And we're going to go ahead and get this all saturated with lubricant, and then we just push it right through. And this just cleans out all the fouling in each chamber. This is probably the most labor-intensive part of cleaning this gun. Since a .22 revolver, there's not a whole lot of parts to it, which is nice. That makes cleaning very good, very simple, and it makes it a breeze when you're just cleaning it, and so you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. Okay, we'll do a few passes through each chamber here to make sure the brush has a chance to get all the fouling out of there, and I also like to do it from either side. Alright, as I say, a .22 is a really good way to start shooting. I have a really good friend who is actually just getting into shooting, and she tried it with a .22. That's the first gun she ever shot, and she came away thinking it was a pretty awesome thing. So, which I am very glad for that. Can't have too many people that are interested in the shooting sports, in my opinion. Alright. Alright. So we have that, and I'm just going to go ahead and run a clean patch down just so we can dry it out a little bit, because we're going to be oiling this later. So I'm just going to make sure to get this down in there, and that'll be good. Alright, again, a .22 cylinder is pretty small. You can do this with them, and that doesn't create such a big deal. So this is good. We're going to dry this out, and then what we'll do is we'll oil it, and I'll show you that step in just a second. Alright. Alright, we're going to get a clean patch down in there. Perfect. And again, I just push it through, and it comes back out. And this is good because it dries the inside and it prevents rust, and that's what we're going to see when we oil it. I'm going to show you a good way to oil. Okay, we are getting there. Okay, so this has been cleaned. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and focus on the gun itself. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe a patch down, or wet a patch, and then I'm going to wipe the gun itself down and just make sure we get all types of fouling out of there. Then we're going to dry that off. I'm going to wipe the barrel down, wipe the general frame down, and that gets all the smokeless powder fouling out of there. Make sure that gets all nice and clean. So, cleaning firearms is just like anything. If you have garden implements, you want to make sure that you clean those and take care of those, because the cleaner they are, the longer they'll last and the better service you'll get from them. So, just like anything else out there. Okay. If you take the time now to clean your firearms, you're going to save a lot of headaches in the future. This is all going to get wiped down. Wipe the hammer down, make sure that all that action is clean, make sure all that fouling gets out of there. Alright, we're getting there. Okay, there we go. Alright. We're just going to wipe off the excess here, and that looks pretty good. That looks very good. And the last step is going to be the barrel, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the cleaning jag off, and I'm going to put the 22 brush back on, and we're going to dip that in solution, and we're going to be good. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and force the brush down in. And I don't know if you can see this. We're going to take the brush back out. There we go. And as you're doing this, it should be hard to push the brush in, and it should be hard to take it out, which is actually really good, because that means the bristles are getting into that rifling in there, and that's exactly what you want. There we go. Yeah, this is excellent. Okay. And we are going to go ahead and wet a patch down. We're going to run a patch down the barrel a few times, make sure that we get all that fouling out of there. Take the brush off here. Okay. All right. Make sure that patch gets down in there. And that's good to make sure, as I say, you take the time to clean your firearms and make sure that they're all nice and ready to go, because you're going to have a lot less difficulty with them later on. Oh, that's not good. Well, and then you break the cleaning jag off in the ramrod. Okay. Well, that's fun. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get that out of there. Okay. So, in a case like that, that's a blooper I'm keeping in. This is good. Well, in a case like that, I am just going to keep scrubbing this thing with the brush. See if it'll... Oh, no, that's the broken one. Okay. All right. Well, let's see here. Okay. Well, that's an interesting development. Okay. So, what we're gonna do is, let's see. Oh, that's gonna be too thick. Well, poop. Poop. If you can see right there, that's where the end broke off, right in there, that black. Oh, let's see. Well, let's see if I can't get this out once. This might be stuck in there. Yeah, this might be. Well, darn it. Okay, well. Well, shucks. Well, that is okay. We're going to keep going here. And I am going to, luckily we were able to get the brush in there a few times before this broke. So, that is alright. And this is looking good, actually. I'm just checking it through the window. And it actually looks pretty good. Okay. Alright. Well, ordinarily, you would oil your gun, and I'm going to see if I can improvise that. So, okay, so we've got the cylinder cleared, you've got the cylinder cleaned, we've got the barrel cleaned, and that's good. So what we're going to do now is I am going to go ahead and see if I can improvise with oiling, since I don't have a cleaning rod to advance down the barrel of the gun. So we're going to see what we can do. But first I want to go ahead and introduce Mobil 1 synthetic oil. This is one of the best gun oils I have ever found. And this tip was given to me by a prospector from Exxon that I talked to. And he had said Mobil 1 synthetic is the only gun oil you'll ever need. And I have found this to be true. This is an excellent oil. And it doesn't stink up the gun. It doesn't gum up. It doesn't interfere with the operation of the firearm one bit. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dip a corner, and 1 liter of oil is going to get you very far. Alright, so we're going to see if we can just drip it in here, just to see if we can get it into the chambers. And we don't need a whole lot. Alright. But we're going to see what we can do. We're going to make sure this is good and oiled. As I say, we don't need a whole lot on there. I just dipped the very corner of this patch in the oil, and we're just making sure this gets all oiled. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it in again. Okay, and we're going to see if we can go ahead and squeeze some down the barrel of the gun here. Okay, there we go. Okay, good deal. So we were able to get a few drops of oil, and I'm just going to let that run down and make sure that gets all the rifling coated and everything. Alright, and as you see, I'm just taking the patch, and as I did with the Hoppies number 9, I'm just making sure that all the crevices and every single thing gets oiled. I want to make sure to oil the hammer and the action back here, and make sure all of that gets oiled and is good and safe and ready to go. So what I'm also going to do, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to go ahead and dip this in there again. Set this down once. There we go. And what we're going to do, I'm going to see if I can drip that. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Hopefully we're getting enough oil in there. So, alright, I'm going to set that aside, and I am going to go ahead and wipe down the excess. Because it doesn't need to be swimming in oil, but it does need a good, thorough oiling just to make sure that your gun does not rust. Because the bluing can only save it so much. Alright. Alright, well, we are done with this, and I am going to go ahead and I am going to put the cylinder back in. I want to go ahead and I want to open the gate that ejects the bullets out, and then basically it's just an action, simple action of just twisting this back in. Oops. First, it would help if I put the gun on half cock. There we go. And this just slips in. And then what I'm going to do, the very next step, I'm going to make sure that I get some oil on the cylinder pin right here. Make sure that's oiled. And I'm going to go ahead and press this button in like I did initially. And the cylinder pin just goes ahead and drops in like that. And then I don't know if you heard it click into place, but it should click into place, and then your cylinder should be able to rotate freely. Great. All right. So this is a cleaned firearm. Okay, I'm just kind of giving it a wipe down with a good cloth here and make sure that I get all the excess oil and whatnot off of it. So that's one thing that I've noticed with Mobile One is that you can wipe down the excess and then a very thin film of oil will remain. So great. Well, this has probably been my shortest gun cleaning video. This has been cleaning the Heritage Arms 22 caliber revolver. Really good revolver. As I said, you can find this at Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops. Today is November 20th, so we just got back from the deer season, and a lot of times the sporting goods stores will have these on sale. So I would check this out. And I am going to wrap this up, but before I do, I always like to do a gun pitch. If you are not familiar with firearms, or if you have some questions about firearms or shooting, or the shooting sports or hunting, I highly recommend you get educated. Please check out a gun range. If you know somebody who does shoot, if you know somebody who is interested in firearms, check it out. Check it out for yourself. Find out what guns are about. Find out what they're not about. So, and I think sometimes finding out what firearms are not about is more important than finding out what they are about. And find out what kind of people shoot guns as well and enjoy the shooting sports. So, with that, I'm going to sign off, and I am going to be uploading my next gun cleaning video. We'll be cleaning a .45 caliber Norinco model 1911. So stay tuned for that, and I will catch you on the flip side.